All right. Well, thank you for the great introduction, Megan. Thank you everyone for joining today. Like I saw a comment in the chat, great to see so many faces from across the country and a variety of backgrounds. I will just share my presentation here, get going. All right, so again, many thanks for taking the time to join the peer learning group today and the presentation on AI and the future of workforce development. As mentioned, my name is Heather McGeer. I am a Research and Policy Analyst at ICTC, and I'm joining from Toronto today. So I would like to begin with a short acknowledgement that the city is situated on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. I also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit, and I'd like to ask that we move forward together, acknowledging the truths of the past and holding space to repair those relationships for a more equitable future. So short housekeeping, the agenda for my presentation today, beyond the introductions, a brief overview of what AI is and some key definitions for the presentation, followed by a discussion of the impact of AI on work, and a discussion of labor and skills development before we head into our breakout rooms, where I'll hand it back over to Megan to lead us into those. And just for some posterity, the background research informing most of the presentation today comes from the three key reports, the most recent being the impact of digital technologies on quality of work in Canada. This is done in partnership with the Future Skills Centre, and two previous reports, Building Canada's Future AI Workforces and Canada's AI Augmented Workforce. These are all available on our website. So if after the fact you're looking for more information, more in-depth look, then by all means, feel free to check these out. So what is artificial intelligence, or AI? AI is defined as a multidisciplinary subject involving methodologies and techniques from various fundamental disciplines, such as math, engineering, natural science, computer science, and linguistics. AI has evolved into a number of technological areas, and as is becoming more obvious year to year, is finding applications across a range of industries, including finance, manufacturing, health, and clean technology. However, AI should not be categorized as one sole concept, as there is a difference between genuine machine learning and the assistive technologies with context-dependent intelligence. So we are a ways off from any genuine intelligence, and currently AI is limited to addressing specific challenges and its ability to generate efficiencies, identify hidden patterns or insights, and automate tasks combined to create a transformative technology that is altering both the labor market and business operations. Some further definitions for you all. As mentioned, as AI is evolving into a number of these technological areas, such as planning, natural language processing, speech processing, machine learning, vision recognition, neural networks, and robotics, among many others. Some of us may be wondering, what exactly are these? So a few key AI technologies that I've listed here today are machine learning, which is an application of AI algorithms that provides systems with the ability to automatically learn and improve from past experiences without being explicitly programmed. This is a very common application of AI and focuses on allowing computers to learn automatically without human intervention. The other quite large one that we see more and more in our day-to-day use is natural language processing, which is technology that helps computers understand natural human language. And it is involved in interaction between computers and humans using natural rather than coding language, so not necessarily Python. It has the objective to read, decipher, and understand the languages, and examples include language translation applications, Google Translate, digitized call center applications, and personal assistants such as Siri or Alexa. Next is one that's pretty straightforward, robotics, machines that can substitute humans or replicate human actions. So if AI is the brain, robotics is the body, and actually completing physical actions. Then there are neural networks, which is a network of algorithms designed to recognize patterns. They are most often used to help cluster and classify data and can group unlabeled data according to similarities. And then automation is the use of technology to automate a process or procedure to be performed with minimal human assistance. So this can refer to physical means, for example, hydraulics, mechanical or pneumatic, or digital processes such as the use of electrical devices and computers. But on the topic of automation, when considering workforce impacts, it's important to distinguish between job automation and task automation. Job automation is the automation of entire job roles or positions, which can lead to significant workforce changes, including job displacement, while task automation is the automation of specific tasks within a job. And this is usually aimed at enhancing productivity and efficiency rather than replacing human workers. But this will all be explored, and they both have implications for the labor market. And on the topic of the labor market, what is the impact of AI on work? There's a growing reliance on AI, even just in the rudimentary sense of assistive technology. And this brings with it not only opportunities, but significant questions about labor market disruption, including concerns about changes related to skill needs, capabilities, and the tasks and responsibilities of workers. So what does the AI labor market look like? As was identified in ICTC's AI Augmented Workforce Report, AI-related roles high in demand include machine learning engineers, data scientists, data analysts, and computational linguists. And companies that are implementing AI tools, systems, and processes will require roles with a range of expertise, such as computer scientists, systems engineers, software developers, ethicists, human factor specialists, and government representatives to manage AI itself in the workplace. And while AI-related technical skills in data science, coding, and specific machine learning methodologies remain in demand, AI algorithms are becoming much more widely accessible, and the emphasis is shifting towards using rather than designing AI. So the future demand for workers capable of understanding how to use AI tools may eventually outpace the demand for workers who develop the tools themselves. This will fundamentally redefine the meaning of an AI worker as this transition continues. So generally, occupations related to administrative or simple information processing, as well as physical occupations, such as in manufacturing, are highly vulnerable to automation and robotization. And although many occupations are exposed to task automation, there are also a number of occupations that are less likely to be impacted, at least in the near term. It's hard to know what is coming down the line. But occupations less exposed to AI disruption involve the need to exercise qualitative decision-making and management, and they typically have higher levels of human interaction, such as nurses. So working with complex scenarios or different groups of stakeholders or conducting scientific inquiry and critical thinking are less likely to be disrupted by AI or have opportunities for automation. But the disruption to knowledge work that workers and businesses are now contending with includes the exposure of these traditionally non-automatable roles, such as programming and writing, with increasingly sophisticated language learning models, as we've all seen with the rollout of ChatGPT's more enhanced versions. However, key to the AI transformation is not necessarily seeing it as a replacement of workers or loss of jobs, but learning to work with AI and transform job responsibilities and understand it as an augmentation of people's jobs rather than a replacement. So the large question on everybody's mind is, what are the benefits and drawbacks? How do we do this in the correct way, or what are the challenges? So the presence of AI in our workplaces is not all good and not all bad. Some of the key benefits to AI include increased productivity and efficiency, where research from Stanford found that consultants using AI were able to complete 12% more tasks on average, and they completed those tasks 25% more quickly. And the results of this AI-assisted work were also 40% higher quality compared to their control group. So there's plenty of opportunities to improve individual workers and businesses' productivity and efficiency. AI's main benefit across all work is the automation of arduous or repetitive or potentially harmful tasks, especially in the physical occupations. And this may allow workers to focus on more complex, creative, or strategic aspects of their work. This in turn provides increased opportunities for value-added tasks and more meaningful work. Additionally, AI and technological advancements have improved access to work or services. This was seen a lot throughout COVID. For example, the ability to have an assessment at a health center rather than needing to go in person, do it over the phone. And has also created new opportunities for work in a rapidly growing industry, as seen with roles like ethicists and government representatives in those traditionally non-tech jobs. So while task automation can complement human labor rather than replace it, job displacement is a very real risk and negative impact, particularly for individuals in entry-level or survival jobs. So like people, the grocery store stockers and the checkout clerks and the assembly line workers. So this can have disproportionate impacts on youth, newcomers to Canada, and other equity-seeking groups that are disproportionately in those roles. And our quality of work research highlighted numerous negative impacts on work conditions through AI and other forms of automation. Technology stress can stem from changing skill and job requirements and the rapid pace of change and the excessive demands for employees to adapt year over year over year. Other research on the technological impacts on quality of work noted that if automation is not carefully implemented and managed, it can diminish worker well-being, leading to higher levels of mental distress and decreasing overall job satisfaction. But by and large, ethical issues are the biggest challenge of this technology, specifically when it comes to data selection for training the models. Historical data can contain biases, and in other cases, historical data may no longer be applicable. Data collection is another key concern, as is that of data privacy, governance, and security. Additionally, governmental regulation is an important focus area, and while currently there is no regulatory framework in Canada specific to AI, there is the proposed Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, which would help ensure that AI systems that are being deployed in Canada and developed in Canada are safe and non-discriminatory, and would help to hold businesses accountable for how they are developing and using these technologies. As of last month, I believe, a voluntary code of conduct was announced that is intended to help companies develop and use AI systems responsibly. So to be seen how this plays out. But all in all, a wider public acceptance will require overcoming concerns over personal data usage and data monetization. And finally, on the drawback side, the concern of the black box nature of machine learning models, meaning that there's a difficulty to explain how an algorithm determined a particular outcome or made a certain decision. As some of you may be aware, this is an active area of research. So again, interesting to see what comes of this. So technological changes in the workplace should be done with careful consideration of the impact on workers. As was shared by an interviewee for the Quality of Work study, in a rollout of automation in the resource extraction industry, processes and technology were developed to put machines first and humans were, to quote, an afterthought. So while it was assumed that the rollout of this technology would benefit workers and allow them to work off-site, for example, the workers felt disconnected from their roles, led to lower engagement and increased job turnover in this scenario. So avoiding situations like this requires engaging workers in the design and deployment of such changes right from the outset. Deploying technology in a human-centric way helps to ensure that technological changes are made with workers rather than to them. Along these lines, there's a need for increased collaboration and a cross-disciplinary understanding between the end users of AI and those AI augmented tools and the AI experts to help ensure a proper implementation of these tools and processes in a workplace. And despite the increasing integration of digital technology in the workplace, to focus on the human aspect, it's important that individual goals are aligned with business needs as to help employees find meaning in their work. So in the digital forward workplace, employers should focus on hands-on worker training and work integrated learning opportunities and consider how to best leverage human capabilities. So it's important for organizations and institutions to nurture a culture of continuous learning, but the onus for this lifelong learning is not and should not be on the individual. And so to support workforces, employers should commit to worker training in the skills needed for the role. And luckily, as we did some surveys for the Quality of Work report, this is occurring more. We found that from 2020 to 2022, the percentage of employers who invested in digital training programs, micro-credentials, boot camps, and other upskilling and reskilling activities had doubled in those 2 years. So on to the skills conversation. To help keep workers employed, workers across sectors will require digital skills and competencies in an upskilling or reskilling manner, and there's an increasing importance on human or transferable skills.
It's the AI webinar.
As mentioned, the subject matter experts consulted for our research noted that skills such as simple number facility, memorization, and visualizations were rated as highly likely to be disrupted by AI. As labor demand is shifting towards workers with strong cognitive skills, technological skills, and social and emotional skills, it's important that workers focus on building, workers and employers focus on building and refining these human skills and competencies that cannot be easily replicated or automated. So the key skills that we identified in our research included critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving, interpersonal communication, emotional intelligence and social perceptiveness, adaptability and flexibility, leadership, and collaboration. So here there is a great opportunity to expand and integrate social, emotional, human skills into current educational programs or provide standalone courses. The challenge is that, at least back in 2019, I recognize this is an older statistic now, only about a third of post-secondary strategic plans and annual reports explicitly acknowledged social emotional skills. On the topic of transferable skills, specifically in the digital way, in seeking to define what these are, we determined 3 key indicators to what might make a digital skill transferable. So this would be universally applicable across various disciplines, adaptable within specific domains or industries, and ones that do not become obsolete with new or emerging digital technologies. Many transferable skills can be identified in areas such as management, sales and marketing, operations analysis, troubleshooting, systems evaluation, negotiation, conflict resolution, and strategizing and general business acumen as ways of example. It can be challenging to formally categorize broadly applicable digital skills, but instead they can be generally framed as comprehensive digital literacy across various disciplines. So we did just that in the Quality of Work research, where we created a sort of classification of digital literacy. To define digital literacy, it's the ability to use digital technologies, communication tools, and networks to function effectively in the global economy, as well as navigate and adapt to an evolving digital landscape. So this application to digital and non-digital work emphasizes technological literacy traits and capabilities that focus more on functionalities rather than specific platforms or applications. So the 4 core areas of these literacies are tools and interface, which is concerned with basic familiarity with computer systems, knowing how to interact with hardware and software, and interaction with applications and design concepts. Second is information and data. So skills related to retrieving, thinking about, processing, and using information. Third are sharing and creation competencies. So that includes all digital skills and literacies in line with the traditional notion of literacy. So the ability to read, write, communicate ideas and information, including basic modern communication, multimedia consumption and production, and the ability to share in the digital interconnected economy. Finally is the historical and cultural context, which is the ability to recognize that technologies are developed within these cultural, economic, and political systems, and that they therefore reflect the values and context of these systems. So to wrap things up here, how do we support workers? So in the 2022 Global Digital Skills Index by Salesforce Research, they found that 81% of Canadians said they did not have the tools and resources needed to acquire digital literacy. We also found in our research that marginalized groups are particularly disadvantaged in their ability to participate in the digitally mediated workforce. So in addition to the need to improve the availability of or access to the tools and resources needed to acquire digital literacy, there's a need to improve access to career supports and expand worker understanding of transferable digital skills. Additionally, there exists a gap in upskilling opportunities, specifically when it comes to AI and machine learning. And this is something that needs to be continually addressed. For example, as there are inaccessible graduate level certificate courses, whether they're too costly financially or in terms of time it takes to complete a graduate level course. And it was found that many open online courses struggle with consistency or quality control of their offerings. Secondly, career guidance providers can inform workers on the need for digital skills and competencies that are increasingly applicable across many roles, not only just those traditionally digital or technology-facing roles. Career guidance to expand worker understanding around these universal aspects of digital skills and literacy may be particularly valuable for certain groups, such as longer-term unemployed job seekers or those in roles that have been transformed by technology. And finally, additional support is required for newcomers to Canada in particular to help address language barriers, work eligibility, recertification, and systemic discrimination in the labor market more broadly. So with that brings me to the end of the presentation. Again, these are the research products that I drew on from ICTC's work and my own work. If you're interested in a more in-depth look at any of the information shared today, please visit our website, and those PDFs are available for free. That we can always send over links to if you are interested. And many thank you for listening, and I'll pass it back over to Megan for the introduction to the next stage of today's workshop.